Alrighty, I'd like to welcome you back to another episode of JPublic Will Play Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin. This will be a short video because I'm a little bit sick, and so my throat might not manage to keep up. Today we are going to, let me just check. Where have we gotten so far? Luxel, Dragon Rider. Well, I guess we're now heading into, well, we can either do the Bastille or No Man's Wharf. I don't know. No Man's Wharf is always a pain. I can go to either and get help. I already did some of the Bastilles. So this is actually a really tough decision. I think I'm going to do... Oh wait, I already did No Man's Wharf. I don't know why I'm going back there. I was confusing No Man's Wharf with a slightly different area, which is a pain in the butt, so we're going to do Lost Bastille. The area I was confusing it with was called... I don't even remember what it's called now. It has a boss that I really can't stand, because I can't do it by myself. Yeah, I know the game. I'm not the best at this game, so there you go. I thought I said I was going to start using the S-Stock. So let's do that. S-Stock. Stab, 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 stab. Strong attack. It's a swipe. Let's actually get a whole bunch of stamina so I can show it the combo. Swipe, swipe, swipe. And if I two-hand it, which I will rarely do, it's still pokey pokey. And the two-hand is a really hard poke. So, that's what we have. This area! First off, we have this jack off. See him? Don't like him. There's two ways to kill him. One, use a bow. Two, be cheap and use spells. We're going to be cheap and use spells. And almost die. Bravo me. So this is how you use the binoculars. If you look, it zooms in. And when you're zoomed in, if you cast spells, it's like you're using a bow. There's no wind up, there's no nothing. It's just you cast exactly where you're pointing. If you're really good or really experienced, or you just cheat and put a little dot on your screen, you can figure out where the center of your screen is, which is exactly where it goes, and that's how you can cheese with binoculars and a spell. I find it really, really, really useful with some of the later staves or staves and all the few priestly projectile spells like emit force and lightning, because the way they cast, like their animations, are weird and I find them really hard to aim. Oh, come on, stand still, jerk. Okay, there's a ladder here. We're not going to take it. Instead, I'm going to walk over here, fall down here, take a little bit of damage. Little bit of damage didn't hurt anybody. Actually, it hurt a lot of people, but still. A little bit of damage can kill you in one hit. but Soul of Warrior and another effigy. I remember when I first played this game and I thought effigies were going to be like hard to find. Not so much anymore. Kill that guy. These scaffolds can be taken down. I'm trying to see if I can catch, if I can drag out all the dogs, because trying to fight the Dukes and the Pursuer at the same time. Oh yes, there's another Pursuer here. There he is. I have a nickname for the Bastille in, Ooh, forgot my shield. That was stupid. I have a nickname for the Bastille in Skull of the First Sin, and it's Pursuer Town. There are 4 Dark Pursuer encounters in this zone. It is a little bit extreme. Oh, get out of the way. That's what happens if you have too little stamina. You get staggered. Avoid the stabby blue attack. Run in. Drill the crap out of it. And take the Twinkling Titan item. Dang it. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Very annoying. Now here. Uh-oh, dog. Oh! Well, first, let's grab this. Because another SS flask is always a good thing. One thing I discovered, in a previous episode I mentioned that the Watch Dragon Parma gives you stamina. It doesn't. Watch Dragon Parma acts exactly like my hat. That is to say, it increases item find rate, which is really awesome. What else does that mean? It means I no longer have to wear the stupid hat. Varangian Helm. Now we're playing Fashion Souls. Which one do I want to wear? Neither one is really going to hurt me that much. This is the Varangian Helm. Viking Helm. This is the Knight's Helm. I think we'll wear that. While item find does stack, so if I was to wear both the helm, the traveling merchant hat, and the shield, and then there's an item you can find later on called the Covetous Gold Ring, which also increases item find, and then you can also use a consumable called the Rusted Coin, which also increases item find. You can do all that. I don't find it's really necessary. If you're really trying to farm an enemy for an item, you can do that. There actually is an area later on I might go ahead and do that because there's a catalyst I want, and the only way to really get your hands on it is to get it to drop an enemy, and the easiest way to make that happen explosive guys in here. Anyway, the only way to really make that happen is to get a drop from a specific enemy, so if I'm going to be farming that, which I may even do online, which would be really dull, but hey, why not? Oh, I hate these guys. Stabby. But yeah, if I'm going to do that online, I want it to I want to get good results as fast as I can. Ooh, I almost died. Run, run, run. Whoa. This is dumb. I was trying to be clever. Ooh, this fell. Swordsman gloves. The Royalist Swordsman gear isn't bad. It's middling heavy gear. I'm not a huge fan. Let's waste it. Like I said, it's not exactly, you know, bad. Uh-oh. Forgot about that guy. That's my big problem with Scholar of the First Sin. I have internalized a lot of encounters. Hit the rock. Run away. I've internalized a lot of the encounters in Dark Souls. So I know where a lot of them are coming from. So in Dark Souls 2 Scholar, since they mixed up a lot of the enemy placement and they did a lot of asshole encounters now, like there's a lot of Wanderer gear is something you can find. I can't remember which one of the characters wears it. But anyway, as I was saying, I've internalized a lot of the enemy placements. So I get sometimes very surprised when I go into certain areas and then, you know, bad things happen, and because I get... Be very careful here. All of these explosive. Much with the boom. So, yeah, that's my big problem with this game, is that I expect, you know, something to happen and then it doesn't happen, and then I go and then I get drilled. There's some areas later on where it was just pathetic how badly. So, if you look here, there's nothing really telling you that there's something odd going on, except for, well, this message. So, but you have all these explosive barrels. Explosive barrels usually can be used. So let's throw a firebomb. And there was a boom. And you go in here, and you get Archdrake robes and Archdrake shield. Archdrake robes are the robes worn by the priest class when they start. They're actually fairly good gear. And look up there. Let me switch to my... See right there? Ambush guy. He's a jerk. I'm going to switch to my casting, see if I can drill him. Then we're going to switch to our offensive melee gear. There's a Pharos Lockstone thing here. In the old days, it did this door, which you could then use as a shortcut up to a later area, which I never bothered with because I wanted to complete the whole area anyway. With the Dust Curb. Spell regain. I don't know what it does now. I think it just opens this. But I don't know what it's good for, because usually when I'm around here I don't have a lot of Pharos Lockstones to spare. And by the time later in the game happens, I just don't care to come back here. I mean, I could. We'll see if I remember. Y'all can remind me. Twin Blade! I don't know if I can equip it. I probably can't. Yeah, I don't have the... to use this effectively. But let's see if I can do it. Twin Blade! This is left, right, you know. This is your regular attack. See, it keeps on dinging the floor. That's your 2-minute strong attack. You know. Thing is, Twin Blade, you don't use one-handed. You use it two-handed. There's some better twin blades. But the point behind the twin blade is that you're attacking very frequently, and that's supposed to make up for any sort of defensive deficiencies. The idea being, you know, best defense, great offense. Parrying dagger, another stabby weapon. We'll see if I can equip it. I can. Good. Thing about daggers is all daggers are stabby weapons and are really good at backstabs. But look at that range. You can see it's almost exactly like my S-stock and move. It is a stabby weapon, and this is its secondary. All parrying items as their secondary have what they call the riposte. Or parry, I don't know. I think the parry is where you knock the weapon aside. Riposte is where you hit him. You see me do something similar when I shield bash, when I bash a guy who's using a shield and knock him back. If you can do that when he's attacking, he'll also stagger, and then you can stab him and do massive damage. I'm not going to show that because I'm not really good at getting it to fire. So I think it's a waste of effort for me to die trying to show you guys something that I can't do. If you play Bloodborne, basically the Bloodborne mechanic with you shooting a guy as he's attacking you and then doing a huge visceral attack is exactly this mechanic, which is part of the reason I find Bloodborne super hard, because I'm a passive player. Remember when I came down here and I opened up a path to Steady-Hand McDuff? This is that path. We're not going to go that way. We're going to go back here and go down this. I should point out, this area you can see in. If I was playing on standard brightness levels, which I really should be, this area is hard to see in. Like, it's really hard to see in. A lot of people criticize the fact that Dark Souls in the initial release, in their previews they showed really hard to see, like it was, you needed the torches all over the place. There's an area later on where I'll use it anyway, but you needed the torch to figure your way around. And then they pulled that in the final release because it was just, they claimed it was just a performance issue. They couldn't maintain performance. I don't know if that's true, but they believe it is. No, I'm not hollow. Interesting. Oh, I'm an idiot. Yeah, so we're back here at McDuff's. The big problem with a lot of weapons in the game is because even with, I don't know if the how good the durability, the upcoming durability fix is going to be, but even with the durability fix, I find weapons in Dark Souls 2 feel like they're made of paper mache as compared to other games. So, where is that weapon? There it is. One of the things that happens is that as you play, if you're playing with weapons that rely more on hitting a lot rather than hitting hard, is that, I wonder if I can infuse this with anything. Oh, I wish I had a Fire Drake Stone. Fire Drake Stone or Faint Stone would be awesome to have because both of those would scale really well off of my intelligence, which is my main stat here. I'm going to reinforce my Watch Dragon Parma. As you can see, I've done it 3 times and I've only added like, there are 4 times and I've added 1% to the physical defense. The reason I'm actually doing that is to increase its stability, to make it just a more effective shield. 90% block is usually good enough. But yeah, so because the weapons that hit more tend to go through durability faster, it makes them kind of hard to use. There's also the Alpha Strike potential. Bandit Axe, I'm going to talk about in a second. So I mentioned how if you play a priest, you use an item, weapon called the mace, and you can use it most of the game. I find the Bandit Axe is a really good second tier. The Craftsman's Hammer is also a really good second tier. They have the similar type of moveset, so if you're good with them, you're okay. Archstrike Shield is not very good. I don't like it. I'm going to keep the Royal Kite Shield just in case, and I'm going to get rid of all this crap. We're going to play Fashion Souls for a second here. And check out my equipment. So I have ranging armor. See, what I'm really looking at when I look at all this different armor is this number down here. I don't want my equip load to exceed 65% is a good number. If it exceeds 65%, my roll slows down. Now while I don't roll a lot, I roll enough that taking that kind of I need the defensive capabilities. So I'm just looking around seeing what I have here. Knight armor. No, it's too heavy. Leather armor, not any better than what I have, and I always wear the leather armor. The Wanderer coat. Let's look at this. I kind of like the look of that. I think I'll wear that. Then I'll change up my gloves. These are the Royal Swordsman gloves. We'll wear those. I think they look kind of cool. Oh yeah, and I had the Drangleic leggings for the heavy. Let's see if I have the slow roll. Nope, good. So we'll dump all this crap in my... You actually do eventually find a guy who buys crap, which makes life a lot easier. Well, you don't get much for it, so it's not really worth it, but why not? So far we've met the Pursuer twice. We're going to go to the tower part. We've met the Pursuer twice. There's still 2 more meetings. So, let's go this way. In my alternate character, I use the mace. That guy, you saw it took me, what, 4 or 5 hits? It took me 3. So there's the big difference. The mace is a very damaging weapon. And I don't have that high strength on that guy. I think I only have, like... Look at my stats here. I think I only have, like, 17 strength on him. Or, no, I have 18. I have 18 strength on him. So, he doesn't have huge strength. Oh, I hate this part. Big flame. Steady. Okay. Right here. If you don't have a Fragrant Branch of Yore, you have to use that alternate shortcut that I mentioned earlier. I do have a Fragrant Branch of Yore. This guy is no longer stoned. And we stab him in the face. Okay, this part is not my favorite part of the game. See all these assholes? Yeah. I admit I'm being a super coward here. I also admit, don't really care. Hate these guys. Easily my least favorite part of Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin is how much they rely on mass attacks. You know, the swarm of enemies. I think it's incredibly cheap and not really an improvement to the game. I don't know why they decided to do that. Stabby, stabby, stabby. Here. Felicia the Brave. I like Felicia the Brave. She does huge damage. She's using a lance of some type. Whoops. That was a Kong show. So, right down there's the boss. We'll be right back to it. We're gonna go, and I don't know if there is anything here. Is there? Nope. Nothing there. Go down here. I believe there's another guy in here. Again, this area would be really dark if I didn't have the brightness turned to max. Door to nowhere. Be very careful. As this guy says. Hold this ahead, therefore pull back. Down here. Soul of a Proud Knight, human effigy. This door, damaged door, goes to the boss room. But because it's been jammed and mangled and no longer works well, in here, Felicia, get over here. Radiant Life. The other summon for this area is Pilgrim Belclair. Actually, it's a pretty good summon. Felicia, out of the way! Oh my god! Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Out of the way. Move. 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 Who's this? We'll see if we're good with who we have. Pilgrim Belclair actually does a really good job at this boss. He has access to some pretty high-level spells. So, aw, damn. You can see that big huge spear thing he just cast, that's the soul spear. It's a fairly high level spell. And yeah, this fight's gonna be a gong show. What you usually want to do is stay up on that platform, because then you're only dealing with one of these jerks. that was dumb of me. My hope is... like, I can take any one of these guys by myself. I really do not have a problem with these guys. Doesn't help that I'm being way too passive. Sorry I'm being so quiet, but this is kind of a tough battle, and I love the music. There we go. Thanks, guys. So those are the Ruined Sentinels. Now you may think, there's the door, let's leave. And you'd be wrong. There are hidden crap in this room, in this place. 2, 3, 4, as all the signs show. Yes, there are 4 hidden doors in this area. Now, not all of them are useful, but there are 4 hidden doors. First, a rusted coin. Worthless, really. Nothing in there. But in here... target shield. Target shield's great for parrying. Like most light shields. Hush spell. This is actually the reward for the second level of this, of the Covenant I'm in, the Way of Blue. It didn't used to be, or it did, or I was just dumb. Probably the latter. So, the door down there leads to there, which leads to here. Run through this area. Well, grab this item, then run through this area. The reason for that, that is why. Second bonfire to the servants' quarters. Servants' quarters is very important. Before I do that, I need to see if I have the item I need to do the servants' quarters properly. I do not. Crud. I'll have to come back here. We're going to go back to Majula. Now, I'm going to screw around here a bit. And then I'm going to talk about a fairly significant part of the game for me, which is the Platinum Run. Now, as I've said before, the real problem to the Platinum Run... Dang, I was hoping I hadn't picked that up. The real problem to the Platinum Run is the get all spells. It is possible, if you are really dedicated and really, really lucky, because that's a lot of work you have to put yourself through. It is possible to do a Platinum Run on a single character and only play through the game 1.5 times. It is not what I call a particularly fun way to play, because that involves doing extensive PvP. The reason is because there's certain spells that are only available to higher level ranks, or mid-level ranks I believe, in some PvP exclusive covenants. And we're not talking like, and for some of those it requires like hundreds of PvP points. You know, the points you get for doing the PvP. That's a lot of work. I'm not interested in doing that. So, in that case, the only way to really do it is to play through 2 3/4 times. This is more or less the offline way. What you have to do, well, it's not entirely, but it's, I don't do it that way because that takes even longer and I'm not that well in. What you have to do is, at least my experience has been, you have to play through in a way to get to that bonfire that I was just at, the Servants' Quarters bonfire, as fast as possible. So that you're as low a level as possible. You get there, you go through, you go into the next area that I needed the Pharos Lockstone to get to, which is the Belfry Luna. And you join the Covenant there. That Covenant is the Bellkeeper's Covenant. The second reward for that Covenant is a spell called Hidden Weapon. The only way to get that spell is to achieve second level in that Covenant. The way that Covenant works is, as people enter that zone, they will get invaded by Grey Spirits. You will be one of the Grey Spirits that will be summoned if you happen to be lucky enough to win the lottery. The reason you want to get there as low a level as possible is because PvP will raise your... Let me go to my player stats. This number here, which is your soul level. By getting there with as low a soul level as possible, which means doing as little as possible, gaining as much souls, as few souls as possible, you have a wider range. Well, your range of PvP starts really low, and then as you level up by doing that Covenant, like fighting in that Covenant a lot, you'll have a better chance of running into guys. Which means getting the 30 PvP kills required to get that second level spell is a lot easier. So you get there as soon as possible, you get your second level spell. Then your next target is a Covenant very late in the game, or later on in the game, called the Heirs of the Sun, I believe it's called. The Sunbro Covenant. You'll know someone's in the Sunbro Covenant because their summon sign will be golden as opposed to white.
May you find peace on your journey.
That Covenant, you need to get 30, and you get points in that Covenant. You get Sunlight Medals. The way you get Sunlight Medals is you either summon one of the Sunbros for PvP, or you are summoned as a Sunbro for PvP, and you kill the boss. And it has to be a full summon, you know, using the large soapstone, not the small one. You trade those into the Covenant, and eventually you get an item called a spell called Sunlight Spear, which is the best faith offensive spell, and that's how you get that one. After you've done that, your next task is a third Covenant called Pilgrims of the Dark, which I will cover when you get there. And that Covenant, I know this is long and tedious, that Covenant you have to complete completely to get its spells. So once you've done that, you've gotten about most of it, like most of the stuff that you have to do special. Finally, you complete the game once, start New Game Plus. On New Game Plus, every time you defeat one of the 4 Great Souls, they give you a soul from the last Dark Souls 1. You take those souls to Stade, who is a guy we'll run into very soon, and he trades those for certain spells. That's the only way to get those spells. And then you complete the game again. And then finally you go through the game a third time. You get all the way to an endgame zone, and there's a merchant there who only in New Game Plus Plus, so your third time through the game, will sell certain spells that are available through these PvP covenants that are super tedious to get. There was an analysis done by one guy where he said, you know, making certain base assumptions, it's actually faster to go through the game 2 3/4 time than it is to try and get those PvP points. So unless you really like PvP, I don't recommend doing it. So yeah, you get to that merchant, he now finally sells those spells, you can complete the spell collecting achievements. Really tedious. I'll probably do it on my other character. My other character is a faith caster, and he uses the axe and mace, which is part of the reason I'm having a little bit of difficulty, because I'm used to the timing of that right now.
Here to see, however.
Here for shards. Shards mean more Gatorade. Do I have 2? No. Then we're going to level up. I'm going to level up my attenuation to 20, which means I now get 4 spell slots. That's going to dump a lot into my intelligence. And because I'm doing pokey weapons, I'll dump a couple points into my dex. You know what? This is not a great plan. I'm going to get some more health. So I've done that. So, that covers just about everything. Next time we go through, I will... Actually, I'll port there just to... I really wish I had a Pharaoh's Lockstone. I'm trying to figure out the fastest way to get my hands on one. I don't know. Oh well, I'll just go through the rest of the game. I think actually on my way through I can get the next one, so I'll do that. So next time we go through, I will continue my path on to the next bonfire, which will be in the Sinner's Rise, which will be right outside the first primal bonfire, which is our first big task. So, see you later.